What makes you a scientist?
What makes me a scientist? That's interesting. That's a good question. I think everyone, in some degree, is a scientist. To me, the number one thing you need to be a scientist is curiosity. And from the moment that you're born, as a little child and a toddler, you're curious. You're always asking, how does this work? Why is this like this? Why is the sky blue, etc.? That is science. That's science. You are a scientist, you know? And I think, for me, I've always been an intensely curious person and always interested in science. When I was younger, my favorite TV show growing up was The Magic School Bus, and I don't know. I find the thrill of discovery so exciting, and the beauty about science is that it's always changing, it's always evolving. There's always more to learn, and my parents, you know, they always instilled upon me from a young age the importance of hard work, the importance of education, and because of them and because of my Filipino heritage and my cultural upbringing, I think it's a strong piece of my motivation and what allows me to work hard today.
So how would you interest the community into supporting you?
Well, the first thing that anyone should do is to reach out and to communicate and to have a conversation. Any support always begins with trying to understand what are the problems that the community faces and what are the solutions that they think should happen. The job of any member of parliament, any politician, is to serve their constituents and to serve their community. And you can't do that job if you don't understand it, if you don't know that community well. So my pitch, or how I would convince the community to support me, is to reach out to them and ask them and hear from them and really listen to the problems that they face and think about what are the solutions that I can offer or that I can find and work with others, other members from other parties, other levels of government, other organizations to try and make things better.
So how do you see the Filipino community in GTA in regards to supporting a Filipino candidate?
Right. Every Filipino person that I've spoke to so far has been very supportive, and I think that the Filipino Canadian community, the Filipino community in general, is one that is centered on shared values. It's one that's centered on family and respect and integrity, and everyone that I've spoken to has just been tremendously supportive, and I'm very thankful for that.
No, I thought the community is centered on beauty contests and everything, you know.
I think it's I think that's a fraction, or one facet of it. I think it's the Filipino Canadian community, the Filipino community in general is complex, and as with any community, it's made up of individuals with their own ideas and their thoughts and their wants and their dreams. And so I typically don't like to speak with generalizations to any one community, and I can only speak to my own experience, which is everyone that I've spoken to, you including, have been really interested and have been really supportive in my political run, and I think everyone recognizes the need for more Filipino Canadian voices at the government.
No, because. My thought was that the Filipino community was more engaged in, shall we say, fiestas, beauty contests, and all those superficial things. So maybe you can change that perception.
I hope so. I mean, I think that I wouldn't say that they're engaged primarily and only on superficial things, but I think that there is a wave of new thinking, and perhaps a younger generation that is more politically engaged. And this isn't just for Filipino Canadians, but this is for every Canadian, I think. I think younger generations are becoming more and more involved because they realize that a lot of these complex problems, like climate change, for example, are problems that the younger generation will have to deal with as time goes on. So I hope that I am an example of young Canadians, of Filipino Canadians, who are stepping up and recognizing that we need to be more involved and more engaged in our political life.
So how do you see the Filipino Canadian organizations in GTA?
Yeah, I haven't yet had the opportunity to speak to many of them. I have reached out to a few, And again, I think that they're trying their hardest to represent the Filipino Canadian community. Each one is a little bit different, of course, and as with any organization, there are complexities and nuances to all of them. But again, I welcome and I look forward to engaging with all of them.
So were your parents receptive to your idea to run for office, public office?
Initially, not so much. Initially, my mom was concerned. You know, she said, you know, Phil, why are you running for office? You're a scientist. You did all of this schooling? Why would you give that all up? And my dad, of course, was just was worried and concerned as well, right? Like to them, to my parents, and to a lot of Filipino Canadians, stability is what's really important. And taking time off work, I'm taking a leave of absence without pay from my job in order to run for office. And there's, with no guarantee, in fact, a likelihood that I won't win. But I explained to my parents and I explained to my mom why I'm doing this. How it's an experience, how it's a unique opportunity to see Canada and hear from the community and contribute back. How I want to help represent the Filipino Canadian community. How I want to put new ideas and new policies and new ways of doing out into the public. And when she recognized my motivations for doing this, and you know, if I was really power hungry and only just wanted 100% to be in politics, then I probably would have gone with a more established party. But that's not my goal. My goal is of course to get elected, but also to represent the people, to work for the people, and to make an impact, especially on the big problems like social inequality, climate change, a global pandemic, etc. And when my mom and my dad understood that is where my motivation is, they were very supportive.
All right. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.